This is the reality, and we must first accept it before we can move on to the next step. The next step is to figure out how to deal with the fact that life is full of ups and downs. You can't really overcome it. You can only find temporary solutions. There are no permanent solutions. Can anyone completely eliminate death or old age? For 10 years or so, perhaps. But beyond that, it is impossible to hold back the inevitable. First, we must accept that this is the way life is. Then, we must ask ourselves if that is all there is to life. Are we born, go through life experiencing some happiness and suffering, and then die? Is that all there is to it? Is there no more meaning to life than that? Let's leave it at that for now. There have been people, great souls whom we call saints, who have dedicated their lives to helping others, to alleviating the suffering of those in pain without even taking care of their own needs. What motivates them to do this? We all know that there is suffering in the world, but there is also happiness. So why are there some people who are not so concerned about their own suffering, which is inevitable, but instead want to help others and alleviate their suffering? The answer lies in the realization that there is a dimension within human beings that is beyond the clutches of these ups and downs. Happiness, such as it is, cannot be sorted out, for it is always impermanent. This is because we believe that we can depend on the material world for our happiness, but the fact is, we cannot. Therefore, the moment we understand this and turn around and say, perhaps I can find it within, then there is a possibility that we can sort out this problem. Not that the saint, the spiritual person who turns around and goes within himself and is in communion with the Supreme, does not suffer. He also, like all human beings, has to go through certain things, and he also has to die physically. But he has discovered the fountain of all satisfaction within himself. Therefore, even though all these things happen around him, he is not affected. Now, since he is not affected by it, he wants to help others to be not affected by it as well. That is why great spiritual beings teach or try to help others. Do this, do that, follow this. Not because they want to make any profit out of it or do anything of that kind. I mean, they're not in business, that is not the thing. The thing is because they feel they have genuinely found something, and that is like a breath of fresh air, and they want to share it with others who they somehow feel sorry for and say, why are these people suffering when there is no need to suffer? I mean, physically, yes, suffering is there, but mental suffering is most of our sufferings. They are not physical, although that depends on physical. I will tell you an example. I think I am a great man. Let us say, I don't think, I'm saying suppose, I think I am a great man. I have these qualities, I have those qualities, I am so-and-so, there are hundreds of people respecting me and so on. And then I go out traveling and I go to a restaurant and the waiter, if someone dare misbehave with me and tell me that we can't get out. Now, what happens? Actually, there is nothing. You can go to the next shop and have a cup of tea. Does it matter really? But what happens? This ego of mine which I have built up, this idea that I am great and so many people are with me and they are, that gets hurt. It's not so much physical, I can get a cup of tea from the other shop, but now I have to show off. I must say, I cannot do this, because I have created an image and I don't want that image to burst. So we are saying to the image maker, hey, what is this image? It is merely an invention of your mind. So why make it at all in the first place? Why don't you leave it like that? Why create if you don't have a bubble? Who's going to bust it? I am saying, people, how is it possible to live like that? It is possible to be free of these images which we build ourselves. See, what is it that we have? If I have a lot of money, then I can have a lot of people who are looking after me. Or if I have some power which they expect to share, I can expect a lot of people looking after me. The moment I am on the streets and I have nothing, nobody, look at this. This is normal. If people say, "Oh, but they have looked after so-and-so because they expect something from so-and-so, otherwise, will they look after him?" So when you understand this fact and say that in this world, there is only one whom you can call your own, that is that supreme being whose spark is in us. You could call him God, you can call him nature, whatever you want. God. That's the only friend you have. True friend. All other friendships can fall at any time. Much of our energy is spent in protecting these relationships so that they don't fall apart. And in that itself, there is so much strain and confusion and conflict that we are constantly concerned about it, while that one, which is dear to our heart, has no such problem. You don't have to give anything you don't have. You just have to direct your attention once in a while and say, "Here you are, here I am." And I personally believe that that is the only way to solve this problem. I am not saying we shouldn't try to solve the problems which are created around us. We should. We cannot be lazy and lie down and say, "Everything will be solved now." That's not the solution. You must remember that no matter how much you solve the problem of sorrow, the problem of death remains, and the problem of misery remains. The only way to sort it out is to turn around and look inside yourself. You cannot look outside and find it. You can find it only within. When you have found it within, then you will see it outside everywhere. Because if you have a spark of the divine within you, why is it that others don't have a spark? They also must have it, whether they know it or not, but you know it. Therefore, you should respect others. It is not a forced respect created out of compulsion or because of social circumstances. It is a respect that comes out of the true understanding that every living being is a God in himself or herself. However much he or she may have covered it by his or her actions, essentially it is so. There is no harm in bending down and touching somebody's feet because they are all gods. This is a fact. People say, "I am praying to God," and they close their eyes. Why? Because you are to look with it outside. You will not see anything except lights and trees, which are also God in different forms. But you have the only way to contact this first, through the inside, and then it will go outside automatically. It's not that that supreme being is not present. If it is all-pervading, it is everywhere. But your contact is only through your inside. And when the inside opens up, then you become more and more selfless. You become more and more selfless. The lotus of the heart opens up. The lotus of the heart opens up, then everybody is your own. There is nobody who is not your own. Whether the person is kind to you or not, it doesn't matter, because that is the person, not the individual. So, while we try to sort out these problems, we should remember that there are no permanent solutions. First, accept this fact, and then also understand that that permanent solution lies within. Because within us is divinity. So, while you work in this world, keep your mind centered inside. Then you can guide through all the problems that you can do. You know this in life. You thought one problem owed, there's another standing. We sort that out. There's another standing. By the time we sort out, there is the problem of collecting firewood for the funeral pyre. It's over, really. This is a fact. And time goes so fast, you never know. At 60 years old, remember, you still let it. So you don't know how time is good. You still think you're a child. Human psychology is in the darkest state it has ever been, with a collective ideology that supports the ego and the senses and doesn't allow any truth to come in. Okay, is it difficult? Not if you have a will to break through the ego. But there's no will to do it because we are addicted.